Alright, we're back with FF7. Same day as I recorded last time, so we're still using FF7 as therapy, which is, one of its many good uses. And Cloud has just asked if Piggy wants to go back to Cosmo Canyon. You want to see Marlene, right? Don't ask me that. We'll beat Sephiroth. Then, if we don't release the power of Holy in 7 days, there won't be a planet left to protect. If we can't beat Sephiroth, it's as good as death for us. We'll just go a few days sooner, then the rest will die from Meteor. Don't be thinking you're gonna lose before you even fight. No. Excuse me. What I meant was, what are we all fighting for? I want us all to understand that. Save the planet, for the future of the planet. Sure, that's all fine. But really, is that really how it is? For me, this is a personal feud. I want to beat Sephiroth and settle my past. Saving the planet just happens to be part of that. I've been thinking. I think we are all fighting for ourselves. For ourselves, and that someone, something, whatever it is, that's important to us. That's what we're fighting for. That's why we keep up this battle for the planet. You're right. Sounds cool saying it's to save the planet, but I was the one who blew up that Mako reactor. Looking back on it now, I can see that wasn't the right way to do things. It might have been, I'm not sure on that. I made a lot of friends and innocent bystanders suffer. At first, it was revenge against Shinra for attacking my town, but now, yeah, I'm fighting for Marlene. For Marlene. For Marlene's future. Yeah, I guess I want to save the planet for Marlene's sake. Go and see her. Make sure you're right, and come back. All of you, get off the ship and find out your reasons for yourselves. I want you to make sure. Then I want you to come back. Quick aside on this. Um, the end of the FF7 Advent Children movie, the sequel movie, has a sort of what are you fighting for climax, which is kind of the one moment in any of the that I think they pull off. It's much quicker and more straightforward than this one, but it's kind of the one moment in any of the FF7 sequel stuff, like Dirge of Cerberus, Advent Children, um, that one that's an anime fight between Cloud and Sephiroth, Crisis Core. Never got my hands on the mobile game for obvious reasons, but all of those. That's like the only moment in any of them that made me think, oh yeah, someone here played FF7 and wanted to actually connect to it. Um, there's also the writing, the written stuff. There were some short stories. The Last Smile. I forget what I thought of that. I think it wasn't where I wanted them to go with the story, but I did not think it was bad in the same way I thought everything else was bad. I just thought this isn't what I want. And that's an important distinction to be able to make, right? There's a kind of famous review from, I think it's one of the Siskel and Ebert ones, but one of them going, this movie sucks, and the other going, this movie is not doing what I want it to do, but the things it is doing very compellingly and well. And just because that is or isn't what I want does not make the movie successful or not. And so I think of the FF7 kind of spin offs and sequels, I think in general, they are not doing what I want, and they are also bad. I think The Last Smile might be not what I want, and just bad. And not bad. Like, not what I want, but actually fine. And the others are varying degrees of not what I want, but also bad. I think Advent Children probably the closest to something I wanted because I was okay with a movie that was just a showcase for characters I like having, you know, grand fights and good graphics. And I still don't think that was any good. But anyway, we don't need to hate on the FF7 spinoffs. If you like them, more power to you. But this did remind me there is one moment in the spinoffs that I thought captured some of the spirit of the original game. I also think it's sort of curious. There's always in games kind of that last moment before the dawn. Like there's a classic FFX, everyone's sitting around a campfire that is shown in the opening of the game and then happens at approximately, arguably including side quests and stuff, a little earlier than this, but a similar point narratively in the game. Probably the equivalent point would be if they had put that before the raid on Midgar in this, if this scene was there rather than here. But very similar narrative point in the game. And there's a bunch of things. And this is the only one I can think of that has a kind of like go and figure out what means something to you and come back if that seems sufficient. If it's enough for you to come and fight for. And also if you don't want to just stay there with the thing you're fighting for. Maybe ain't none of us will come back. Meteor's gonna kill us all anyway. Let's just forget any useless struggling. I know why I'm fighting. I'm fighting to save the planet, and that's that. But besides that, there's something personal too. A very personal memory that I have. What about you all? I want all of you to find that something within yourselves. If you don't find it, then that's okay too. You can't fight without a reason, right? That is historically untrue, but it is useful. So I won't hold it against you if you don't come back. What are you gonna do, Tifa? Let's think about where characters went. Kate Sith maybe went to get Reeves out of prison, though Reeves is probably out by now, right? Scarlet and Heidegger arrested him, but Scarlet, Heidegger, Hojo, they're all gone. Rufus. So maybe someone was like, let's get him out? Maybe he can be in charge? Though actually, more likely, someone militaristic minded took over. But the game doesn't go in that direction, so we'll ignore that. So Kate Sith maybe ran off to get Reeves out of prison. And so his personal reason is, I don't want to be in prison. Kate Sith continues to be the least interesting or relevant character. Now, if we've gotten as far as we have in the game, and done the side quests we've done, Vincent went to Lucretia, right? Because Lucretia's in that cave. And that is undoubtedly where he would have gone. Does he know? Were he to know about that? Were he not to know about that, probably Nibelheim Manor as kind of the closest point to Lucretia. All right, Yuffie presumably went to Wutai, but to be honest, Yuffie doesn't have a ton of reason to fight. I guess wants to get materia. Not great. Okay, we've gotten rid of the side characters, of which Vincent undoubtedly the most compelling reason, but kill his loved son. That's a reason, I guess. Okay, Nanaki, Cosmo Canyon, Bugenhagen. Um, Obviously, a place more connected to the planet. Barrett, Marlene, her future. Sid? I'm not sure Sid has a ton of reason either. Let's return to Cloud and Tifa rather than belabor this. What are you gonna do, Tifa? Did you forget? I'm all alone. I don't have anywhere to go. The two orphans of Nibelheim. Everyone's gone. Someone I saw pointed out recently they're going to do a thing with her head where by tilting her head, her mouth will look like it's smiling, but I think her mouth is actually exactly the same, which is a neatly done effect in incredibly low resolution graphics. Everyone's gone. Yeah, we don't have anyone where or anyone to go home to. See? We got the smile. But I think the smile is because her mouth was tilted that way on a different axis, and her head moves, and it moves into that axis. I think that's what someone explained was going on. Obviously, it looks like it changed, but I think it just tilted, but the axes change when it tilts. You're right. Zeke comes back very naturally, and as her head moves, it changes. But I'm I'm sure someday they'll come back, don't you think? Hmm, I wonder. Everyone has an irreplaceable something they're holding on to, but this time, our opponent. Hmm, but that's alright, even if no one comes back. Because we have Tifa's fists, what do we need other people for? As long as I'm with you, as long as you're by my side, I won't give up, even if I'm scared. Tifa, no matter how close we are, we were far apart before this. But when we were in the life stream, surrounded by all those screams of anguish, I thought I heard your voice. You probably don't remember this, but deep in my heart, I heard you calling my name, or at least I thought I did. Yeah, at that time, I heard you calling me. You were calling me back from the stream of consciousness in the life stream. After all, I promised that if anything were to ever happen to you, I would come to help. Cloud, do you think the stars can hear us? Alright, there's a line I don't love, but okay. Do you think they see how hard we're fighting for them? I don't know, but whether they are or not, we still have to do what we can and believe in ourselves. Someday we'll find the answer, right, Tifa? That's what I learned from you when I was in the live stream. Yeah, that's right. Hey, Tifa, there are a lot of things I wanted to talk to you about. But now that we're together like this, I don't know what I really wanted to say. I guess nothing's changed at all. Kinda makes you want to laugh. Cloud, words aren't the only thing that tell people what you're thinking. Aww. I think this is clever though, because it's first of all, we now see them huddled together. But second, it's almost dawn. It's we told everyone to go find that personal something worth fighting for, and everyone else goes off to find something outside of the party. But Cloud and Tifa have it within the party, the person that really means everything to them. And the person that they, I mean, Cloud especially, but I think to some extent both of them figured out the person they'd get to be with. Not just who they are and who they were, but who they would be moving forward, who they'd get to be, right? And yeah, I think this is comfortably my favorite FF romance. It's almost dawn. Oh, huh? Sorry, did I wake you? It's almost dawn, Tifa. Um, good good morning, Cloud. Give me a little longer. Just a little bit longer. This day will never come again. So let me have this moment. Yeah, okay. This is probably the last time we'll have together. Unless we spend, days and days chocobo racing together. We'd better go. But I still. It's alright, Tifa. You said so yourself yesterday. At least we don't have to go on alone. Yes, that's right. Okay, let's go. Proper playthrough of this game, Cloud and Tifa only, pretend no one ever came back. The airship's too big for just the two of us. Yeah, it's a little lonely without everyone. Don't worry, it'll be okay. I'll make a big enough ruckus for everyone. Ah, and he's mastered the form on this. Now we can win the blonde wig that I didn't win. Good job, Cloud. That's character growth, you know? Besides, I'm the pilot. No more flying around casually like before. We won't have time to feel lonely, because we'll be chocobo racing. Huh? Moving. Barrett, Sid. Oh, is that okay with you? Piggy Man. Why didn't you tell me? But, you know, Sid. Hey, Piggy Man. If you button now, you never know what they'll say later. Were you watching? Vincent. Why such a puzzled look? For the record, don't love the gag of were you watching? Woman runs off in shame, man stands there fine. Not great. We're gonna, I don't know, pretend that didn't happen. Why such a puzzled look? You don't want me to come? No, it's just that you're always so cold. I thought you didn't care what was happening. Cool? I guess that's just how I am. Sorry. Now, if this game had been done in the modern era, like post Mass Effect, it would very much be like, what's your secret friendship rating with each character, or did you do a specific event with each character? And some would return and some wouldn't. But I'm okay living in the kind of pre everything must be customizable game to game era. I think that would be fine here, but I much prefer the era of linear storytelling, right, where they know what the character is going to be, so they can write a really compelling story about them, instead of like the thing they're trying to make compelling is that you feel you are making the choices, and they have to make those choices just sufficient in depth that you feel good about. I am the decider, and it doesn't have to be decider. You know, people enjoy that different ways. But I think a lot of um, the less linear gaming of today is focused on making the main character feel like an avatar for you to make decisions in this world they've made. And they end up putting more attention on making that world interesting and making some decision points interesting than making the person have an interesting story, right? They can't have a very interesting story. At the start of Mass Effect, you pick your backstory and it has like two throwaway lines about it, something like that, right? It's not the entire story of your main character is the story you progress because it's you, and it would be valuing something that didn't happen while you were there would not be giving you that player insert character. But it also means that, and I think Mass Effect's okay. I don't love it like some people do, and I don't think the writing's brilliant like some people do. But I think it's fine. I think they're fun. Um, Though I think the fact that gameplay rewards you for always picking either Paragon or Renegade options means you're not actually making very many choices. You're making like one at the start, and then you're just committing to that for gameplay rewards. So you actually make not near as many choices. But even if that wasn't the case, one thing I think like happens in Mass Effect is it means like the second game, which is I think universally the most praised, is a game where you basically run around recruiting a team for, this is going to be slight spoilers, but it doesn't really say much about the plot, but there isn't much plot. run around recruiting a team to fight against the threat, and then at the end there is a big mission to fight against a sort of secondary version of the threat where much of your team can die and you're trying to keep your team alive. And that's really exciting if you feel like story should be gameplay, I think, right? Story should be I am accumulating a score at something, right? I am accumulating points in Paragon or points in Renegade through the story. I am accumulating cast members through playing the story. The story is not the reward for gameplay. The story is gameplay. The story is something else to succeed at and get points for. And you collect a team, and then the goal through gameplay and decisions in the end is to keep as much of that team alive. And I think that that can have some interest, but it's not what I'm looking for. And again, we can divide what I want versus what is good or bad, and that is just not what I want from story. I really like the linear stories we had back in the day. I don't mean necessarily like linear adventure through the world, but a story that is told with specific character stories in mind, and is if it has branches, those branches are not the center to the story because the characters they've written are the center to the story, and those characters are a specific thing. And you see things in between. I think this is not true in later games, but in Metal Gear Solid 1, I think there's a very good case this is kind of in between. It's a, obviously it is a very linear story. The events and the moving through the world is very linear and it has this specific story in mind. But they do the one thing that keeps it a little in between, which is they make the main character have relatively little personality. And that sounds weird to say about like an icon like Snake, but actually most character icons don't have much personality. Obviously, like the Links of the world don't. But with Snake, like most of the time someone says something, he goes, Metal Gear, right? And they then explain more, right? He's someone to bounce off of to be cool, but he's not someone whose personality or decisions are driving what's happening. He's going along within this story, and so he is a, for instance, easier character to put yourself in than say the lead character of something like Spec Ops, where the story is very much about not that anyone's played that game, but great game. Not great gameplay, but great game. Where the story is about who the person you're playing as is. And it hides that really well, so that's not apparent immediately. And the story has some other things too. But so Metal Gear is not really in between. It's obviously much more on the linear side, but the linear side can feel more like the player insert side the less that main character has defining traits that lock them into being something. And this may be, I was talking about cool versus charming versus deep or profound in a previous thing of like what characters appeal to people that want each of those different things. And I think maybe what I should have also gone for is who wants someone to work as a player insert? Yeah, I'm doing cool. And I think that lands in the cool category for most people, not everyone. But I think the player insert is I want to be this person in this world doing cool things, and I want it to be me. I think player insert tends to veer into the cool category rather than into the I want this to be fun and charming. I think like no one's really player inserting themselves as Mario or whatever, right? And when the character has something profound going on, it's usually because they have something very specific going on. And you might have some similar pathologies, right? You might have some connections to it, but and so you can find parts of yourself in it and you can really empathize or sympathize with what's going on, but usually they're not you, they're someone who's gone through things that you can connect to going through, but that's not always the case. But I think it means that people who going for the player insert version of stories, which tend to be more nonlinear stories, tends to be really appealing to the this is cool crowd. And as someone in the who has some tendencies that way, but as I think should be pretty obvious from just about everything I've put out, um, tends to value the other categories more, especially finding things profound. Um, it is not what I want in games, and so how did I get distracted by this? Oh yeah, I was thinking a modern game would have each character possibly come back, possibly not. FF7 doesn't. I will take the FF7 way, though I think in this specific instance would have been fine to do it either way. Hello, Kate Sith. Excuse me, but I wanted to come with the main group, but I couldn't get away, so some people in Midgard took me in. I know I have a stuffed animal body, but I'll work really hard. I guess that's everyone. Oh, that's harsh. No, Yuffie's missing. She ain't gonna show up. At least this time, she didn't steal our materia. Guess we gotta be thankful for that. In our playthrough, she has not stolen our materia because we did not do that side quest. The big entrance. How could you say that? I came all the way here after being seasick as a dog. Yeah, for her traveling somewhere else and then coming back the next day is gonna be horrible. Good point. Didn't go through all that, just have you guys have the best parts all to yourselves. Welcome back, Yuffie. Gee, Cloud, it's so nice of you to say that. You sick? Well, whatever. I'm gonna be in my reserved seat in the hall, waiting. A perk. What a character to throw into a game. We're gonna have a ninja that spends the entire game getting seasick the whole time as their main personality trait. Now, if you do side quests, there's some other stuff there, but if you don't do side quests, that is Yuffie's defining trait. Thanks, everyone. We didn't come back for your spiky-headed ass. Only one person had Cloud as their motivation. We came back for Marlene. Guess it's just my, feelings or something. I ain't got no words now. Although she's not here, she left us a window of opportunity. We can't let it go like this. Eris. She was smiling to the end. We have to do something, or that smile will just freeze like that. Let's all go together. Memories of Eris. Although she should have returned to the planet by now, something stopped her, and now she's stuck. We've got to let go of Eris's memory. Has anyone here changed their mind? I'm counting on you, Sid. Yeah. There are two levers here that have been bugging me for a while now. Let me try them out. Alright, so what should I do? You decide, Cloud. This is our last battle. Our target is the North Cave. Our enemy is Sephiroth. Now, for what it's worth, even if there's a case that Genova is the, influencing force, obviously all our characters think it's Sephiroth. So, maybe sneakily in the story is a case for it being Genova, but I think the case is pretty weak. I remember reading something maybe a decade ago and being like, that's pretty compelling. And then playing the game again and being like, no, it's Sephiroth, it's not Genova. You can make a case, it's interesting. It's Sephiroth. But I think combining them as Sephiroth Genova makes sense at this point. Because so many of the Sephiroths we've seen, virtually all the actions we've seen, were physically of Genova, not of Sephiroth, right? And I think Sephiroth is kind of the controlling mind here, but it is also, describing it as Sephiroth Genova is also very reasonable. So let's move out. Let us mosey indeed. So, got a couple things to think about doing here. As we get our souped up highwind. I think we're gonna go to Rocket Town. I think we're gonna go to Cosmo Canyon. I think there's some scenes in Cosmo Canyon we should see. We're almost to the North Cave. We're on our way, Sephiroth. Man, I'm gonna stick it to him. Nah, you won't be in our party. Sorry, Sid. What is it, Sid? Some incredible force. Losing control. What a team. Get the hell out of here, flunkies. Didn't I tell you all to go home? Yes, sir. This is our home. Oh, man. Stop trying to act so cool. Alright, you jokers. Hold me down with everything you got. Geronimo! Geronimo is also yelled in FF8. Trivia, who yells it? Could be yelled in other games for all I know, but I remember the moment it's yelled in FF8. Did not actually remember it was in this game. You know, if I'd seen the FF8 one and it was like, trivia, this is yelled in a different game, nah, I wouldn't have known. All right, we're going to save, and we are entering the final disc. I think what I want to do for the final disc is get a few scenes, fight Ultima Weapon, because there's 3 weapons left around, and then fight Emerald and Ruby Weapon. And I think that's about it. I think then we'll go do the final dungeon. This is the entrance to the final dungeon, but we can just leave and carry on playing normally. So we're going to do that. Other things to do, there's Chocobo Racing side quest. That's usually the big thing people do. Again, I'm lazy, so I'm not going to. There's a whole lot of side quests. The Gold Saucer is popping. Full-fledged pilot. Congratulations. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. Most places you go there's like something you can explore. Or a lot of places, there's something to explore and find. But I think for us, we have a couple locations in mind. I'm not actually sure Rocket Town is where I want to go. There's not anything there. I just don't actually think we have gravity materia, and I would like the gravity materia. And I thought, where would gravity materia be? Maybe Rocket Town. Do actually any of these sell materia? I don't know. Just felt like the kind of place the game would thematically put gravity materia. So, where we are. Barrier exit time. Nah. We don't have a barrier materia, so we may as well buy that. Do we have gravity materia? We do. Okay, we have one. All right. Because gravity does percentage damage, and against a boss with an enormous amount of life, percentage damage does a lot of damage. So, thought gravity would be a good way to have it. Where might gravity materia be? I really don't know what the shops sell in this game. Shops are not something I use much of. Let's head to Cosmo Canyon. There's some materia that we might want there as well. Whether or not they have gravity, I don't think they do. But I think we could use some more HP plus materia, right? It would be nice to have a little more HP, given I do want to fight the super bosses, and we are not very high leveled, and I'm lazy about grinding. We can't run away. Look at how quick Tifa is, though. Only 5,000 damage. Weak. These enemies do have good defense. 4 damage. Yeah. But Cloud only does 1. I guess we should do what we're supposed to and use magic. I didn't actually know you could do more. Oh, that didn't kill it. I didn't actually know you could do more than 1 damage a hit when they were shielding like this. I had. Oops, that's not the magic I intended to do. Oh, we still have Vincent in the party. Alright, let's end this with Odin. For a completely unnecessary overkill. And, you know, big dramatic moon graphics. Definitely worth it on an enemy like this. But we have Mega Elixirs. We're able to use things however often we want at this point, essentially. It's been a long time since I've bought, or been 5 years since I've played this game. Been a while since I've bought Emerald Weapon. I've probably not bought Emerald Weapon quite this low level, so I'm kind of excited to see how feasible that is. I think we will need some HP up materia just to be able to survive its basic attacks. And I'm not actually sure what our damage output's going to be. But Bugenhagen seems rather down ever since he returned from that trip. I'm worried something might happen to Bugenhagen now of all times. Alright, we gotta go check in on Bugenhagen. Oh, as he says. I always forget which way to go. Where's the materia? One of these doors, I think. Oh man, everything is over once the meteor hit. I've been selling materia for 10 years now, ever since I was 16. What have I been doing with my life? Welcome. Oh, it's nothing. Now please make yourself comfortable. Yeah, so I think let's get a few of these. Don't think we need MP plus. And, oh, I still forgot to switch Sid out. Yeah, let's. Does cover stack? Like if we put another cover on her, because cover is our first mastered materia, I think. Oh, it's just 100%. That's why she was blocking everything. So we don't need it to stack because she already blocks everything. That's great. Let's buy more of these. Because we're going to run around a bit and we may as well level a bunch of them up, right? Because I think now that we have other methods of damage output, right, we don't really, like, one of the most useful things materia can do at this point is up our stats. We really never use this stuff much. But okay, let's put it on, Piggy Man. No, I'd like to finish leveling up his stuff. Okay, we'll leave it. Probably not much left to steal in the game, so put an HP plus here. All right. Didn't get more gravity materia, but we'll probably find it eventually. Let's go say hi to Bugenhagen. And then we'll probably just call it an episode. Next time up, fighting Ultima weapon? Ultimate? I think it's Ultimate. And say hi to Bugenhagen. Nope, kitty, don't drink my water. Oh, how you doing, buddy? Oh, oh, oh. It's been a while since I've been out. I think I must have tired myself out a bit. Don't tell Nanaki. He'll only worry. I intended to come here bringing Nanaki, but we made a mistake because I forgot Vincent was still in my party. I also did not mean to climb the stairs here. Let's go back down. But there's a save point nearby. So we'll go check that out. And then we'll come back. Because, we're going to tell Nanaki. Nanaki would want to know. Where's the save point? It's in the in screen, right? Or there's a shop. I think it's just down here. It's funny how you remember some things really well and other things like not so firmly. All right, get out, Vincent. Welcome, Piggy Man. Sorry you weren't here for the Hojo fight. I wish Hojo and Proud Claw didn't slow down the clock so much when moving. It's really rude to Tifa. Like, she still does huge damage. The Master Fist is a nice upgrade. And the Master Fist makes her less reliant on those first 60 seconds, but those first 60 seconds still matter quite a bit. Oops. Grandfather. Cloud telling Tifa, and her agreeing. This is Nanaki's time. Grandfather, Nanaki, you're still here. I can't leave you like this, Grandfather. It's the duty of my Seto's son to guard this canyon and her people. Listen, Nanaki, I think you may already know. If you have any mission in life, it is not to defend this valley. Look at the withering mountain grass. Listen to the warble of the newborn chocobos. Look always to the eternal flow of time, which is far greater than the span of human life. It will teach you more than staying here in the valley. What you will see will eventually for my children and for your children. So please, Nanaki, go with Cloud, with your eyes, your ears. Ho, ho, ho. Now, don't look like that. I'm all right. It's a wide world, and you must go out and see it. You may even find your life's mate. You never know. Grandfather. Oh, yes, take this along. I think it will look good on you now. Ho, ho. And that is the truly saddest death of the game. The main character, Bugenhagen, passes. Piggyman is Bugenhagen. Grandpa told me that he's going away again. Away? Seems like he really liked that airship. He told me that he couldn't stay still and just zipped out of here. He even gave me a gift. Look. Received limited moon. Wait a minute. Aren't you supposed to give gifts after you come back? Ah, Grandpa sure is strange. Ah. So maybe we'll run into him again somewhere. Yeah, maybe. Thanks, Cloud. Cloud going along with the story Nanaki wants to tell himself. I appreciate that. And we have the limited moon. Growth nothing. It is his ultimate weapon. I forget how it powers up. At this point, we're probably okay with a growth nothing weapon. Though, actually, I kind of wanted to level some of these up. So, does Nanaki attack anyway? Not on my watch. So let's stick with the crystal comb. But nice to have. All right, and yeah, let's do one fight with ultimate weapon. We won't kill ultimate weapon. Ultimate weapon is a multi-stage fight, but let's do a round and see what happens. Ultimate weapon is the only place, I believe, to learn Shadow Flare, which is kind of the ultimate enemy skill. On the other hand, we are not being completionists this run. So we're not too fussed about that. The nice thing about Ultimate Weapon is because it's a fight split up into multiple chunks, Tifa will generally be within the first 60 seconds. So this is weapon number 3. We've seen weapon number 4 underwater. I consider Emerald Weapon the easier of the two of the ultimate super bosses. Some disagree. And Ruby Weapon is still not here. Huh. Maybe it only comes when you beat Ultimate Weapon. If I knew that, I had completely forgotten it, and I might not have known that. Alright, let's go fight Ultimate Weapon. Now, the tricky thing about Ultimate Weapon is it's really easy to lose when it flies off after the fight. Also, sometimes it's far away. Oh, we haven't even looked at Ultima, but we should be healing. Look at that damage. She counterattacks for 3,000, she hits for 6,800, she hits for 3,300. We've done 12,500 damage, and, she's had one turn. It's pretty good. Alright, let's Blood Fang. It hits hard, though. When it hits you, it hits hard. I forgot that goes before Tifa. That kind of wastes Tifa time. That's a shame. Alright, she's now done. She did about 18,500 damage and didn't even hit the next part of her death blow. 40-ish seconds left, I think. Yeah. Bosses versus Tifa. Just non-competitive, Alright, so now we gotta try to make sure it doesn't get away. So if we can see it moving, there we go. Now if we run into it a few times, it will go directly to the next place it will stay. So, because it's going to sort of zig and zag, but eventually it will hover somewhere. And we just want to make sure, oops, I did not mean to land. No, please don't have lost it. Okay, phew. It's doing this zigzags. If you do lose it, you can fly around looking for it, but also at some point it will go settle somewhere. Once it starts taking a direct bearing, like we've definitely hit it enough times, I think, we should just let it go, because bouncing off it will just slow down it going to wherever it's going next. So it looks like it's going to be over Midgar. And it starts, as you do damage to it, it starts holding this blue beam. We can see this is the same location we fought earlier. The electric boss, or the robot boss thing, as we were leaving Midgar for the first time. Tifa has done 17,000 damage. Now she will do a limit break, and it will do far less damage, but at least it will get out of the way. 18,000, 20,000, 21,700-ish. Not being back. 23 and a half. 27 and a half. Yep, it's gone. We've done about 46k. I think it ends up having about 100k life total. But you cannot finish it before you fought it a certain number of times. Don't remember exactly how it works, but I'm pleased to have a bunch of HP materials on. Now we gotta make sure we try to catch it. Nope, we lost it. Okay. So, given that it might zig around, there we go. It's like worth staying in the general vicinity, I think. Like, you don't want to pick a direction and go far that direction, because it's very plausible it, went a bit one way, then went a bit another way, and all in all kept it from going too far in any particular direction. And so searching the nearby area, I think, is what you want to do for the best chance to catch up to it when you've lost it. Still hasn't decided to go to the next location. And I'm not very good at running into it. But that's 5 times. I feel like that's enough. Yeah, it looks pretty directed. Where's it going? Coral? Nibelheim? Oh, back to Midgar. God, I was on the wrong continent. What a ridiculously bad guesses I made. I was thinking the mountain range on the other continent. I don't know if I've ever seen it do the same place twice in a row. I mean, I'm sure I have, but I don't remember that at all. Alright, Tifa has already done 20,000-ish damage, so I'm surprised the fight's not over. Tifa needs 10 seconds to do 20,000 damage. Keep in mind, like, that is very easy to achieve if you were doing, like, the huge endgame builds, but with this form of playing, Tifa doing this much damage is, again, just incredibly quick damage compared to how much time it takes to get other characters to actually be able to do that kind of damage. Alright. I think we will just try to finish off Ultima. Right? Seems like we did lose it this time. That's a shame. So we could just, like, continue doing other stuff and then check various locations to see if it happens to be hovering over them. Because often it will, or if we fly around the world a bit looking for other stuff, eventually we'll see it, and we'll be able to deal with it. Could, of course, fight Midgar's Alum again, but I think that ship has sailed. I failed. I lost. There we go. So it actually was very close to Midgar still. Sorry if the volume has changed on my voice a bit here. My back's hurting me today. I think I slept weird, and just trying to find a position that's comfortable. And some of those are farther away from the computer speaker. I think one more. Maybe it's just going. Then Gaga. Alright. Oops. Will Cloud use a limit break? No. Heal. Tifa's so good. I realize that's been like the last 50 episodes of this has been me going, Tifa's so good. Alright, I think that might mean we're in the final encounter, because we've been doing about 20,000 before it runs off each time. But this time we only did 10,000, which makes me think we hit the kind of, okay, you're done point. Yeah, it went to Cosmo Canyon. This is the final location. Now you see this up here? You can get here, I think, via Chocobo, but also if we defeat this, it now drops this part of the map down and lets you get to it. And there's some nice rewards there that we probably won't be getting because, again, I am lazy. Even though the rewards there are very nice. Alright, well, Cloud can hit it with a limit, so that's nice. Tifa has long range, and let's just make sure we're healed. Limits feel kind of a waste of time because, again, Tifa has her 60-second window. So, like, am I really that excited about 6,800 from Cloud? But it does pop the window, right? Note, her move did more than Cloud's. So this means we won. And sadly, they didn't use Shadow Flare on Cloud, who would have learned it, because he's the only one with enemy skill. A lot of times what you'll do is you'll save right before this final encounter and wait to beat it until it uses Shadow Flare on the right character, and put like a whole bunch of enemy skills on them to make sure they get it. We also get Cloud's ultimate weapon here. Again, all ultimate weapons have nothing growth, and we still want to be, I think, leveling up our materia. Also, Cloud's physical damage is not anything to write home about, so we're not particularly trying to load him out in impressive fashion. And we got new little crater. So that's 3 weapons down. And yeah, I want to look at what we leveled up. Alright, W item, HP plus, looking good. Okay, Chocobo Lure was mastered, so we're going to take that off. All was mastered. We might do something just to give a little more time to level up these, like, HP plus materials. Restore, not yet mastered. These are all pretty close. I hate grinding, though. Grinding feels like giving up to me, right? Like, we couldn't beat it legit. Had to grind. Now, obviously, that is not the case in people who enjoy grinding or want to grind should grind. But it is not what I want to be doing. Okay, let's throw a Mega Elixir on. I guess I could have just used a tent, but this works. And yeah, I think we'll save and stop here. And maybe next time we'll fight Emerald Weapon. I'm not sure if we need more preparation or not, but it's a fun fight. I like that fight. I think that's one of the better fights in the game to like manage. All right, see you next time.